Hi everybody, Diana here at Build a Quilt. Welcome in to this video, which is all about organizing if you have a small space. I have a thought that I want to share with you because it might help you if you have a small space, or it might help you even if you have a larger space and you're thinking about how to organize. I have a product. This is not a supported video. I'm not getting paid for this or anything. This is a product I've had for golly, 5, almost 6 years now, and I love it. Now, I have a fairly large studio here, but I use this kind of as my working area for everyday things. And then when I need to like refill things, I go to all the other storage and stuff that I have. And one day soon, when I get this all finished, I will give you a little tour of the studio. But it is a chest by Harbor Freight. Hang on, let me just put up a quick Harbor Freight. Helps if I spell it right with no capitals. There we go. It's by Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight is kind of like a Menards or a Home Depot or a Lowe's or something like that. It's a place where you go to buy tools and all of that kind of thing. And believe it or not, they have a lot of stuff in there that can be used in quilting. But they have a set of units in there that I find truly incredible. My husband bought me this as a gift about 5 years ago, like I said, and because he knew that I was jealous of his big rolling craftsman tool chest out in the garage with all the little drawers and things like that. That kind of thing really intrigues me. But over the years that I've had it, I've used it just to throw in all my crafty bits and pieces, all my sewing bits and pieces. But about 3 months ago, I thought, you know what? This would be a great little system for someone with a small space. It's a small little investment. I think they're around $300-400. So that's, and now there's tons of sizes. That's kind of the price range for the one I'm going to show you. The one I can't find the exact one I have anymore, but they have one pretty much just like it. They just have flipped a couple of the drawers. One of the deeper drawers is at the top, and then there's smaller drawers and more deep drawers at the bottom. It's that kind of thing, but it's still in size and capacity like the one I'm going to show you. So let's go ahead and bring up there we go. Bring up my other camera. Sorry, I'm trapped on a cord. Okay, so here you can see it. All right. Now, usually I have it set up on top here. I keep little nice things. Now, this is like a mini version, but this is from a totally different brand, but it was sent to me as a gift and it matches my blue color. Now, the great thing about these is they come in like a ton of colors, purple. And I've even seen them in pink, but purple and green and red and orange and yellow and black and white and this lovely blue. Blue would have not been my preferred color, but my husband didn't know that, and I don't care. I love it anyway. So here's what it is. The brand is called US General from Harbor Freight. It's their version. It is super sturdy. When I move this, I have to unlock the wheels and I have to like get everything out of the way because I'm like standing there like this trying to pull it to get it to move. Empty. It's super, super sturdy. And it comes with really nice keys that actually work. Keys don't always work on these things. It works when you put them in properly. There you go. So, it was working. Oh, there we go. I have to put it in. I had to push the key in. But it works, and that way your drawers are locked and you get spares. So I like that. But here's the reason I wanted to talk to you about this for organizing small spaces. I know a lot of folks don't have a big studio room that they can sew in. I know I always didn't. But this doesn't take up very much space. In fact, let me get my my little measuring tape and let's measure this. So now these pieces here that you see stuck to the side, those are magnetic accessories. And let me tell you, you have to have both hands to really yank them off. They're very strong. And you can buy those separately. So you can buy what you want. This is actually a cup holder. I bought it to hold my 505 and my spray. And I've got other things down here. And then I even have the big magnetic electric strip to the side at the bottom, so I can keep my iron plugged in and anything else that I need over on this side of the room. We've got lots of space. So those were all additional things that I purchased. In fact, I just purchased those things this past year because I never knew about them before. But let's measure this. So the inside width from this edge lip to here, 26 inches by 22 inches. So really, if you have like a 2x2, 2x3 foot space, you could put this in there. And now that's without all of this hanging off the side. But the great thing about it, if you don't have a place to set your machine up, you could dock your machine here when it's not in use, put a cover over it. They almost all come with some sort of little cover, dust cover on them. Or since you are a stitcher, you could make your own for sure. Or you could, if you do have a place where you keep your machine, maybe you put it away in the closet. I say, why bother? But you might. You can leave your cooled off iron on here, but there's something else you can do with this top, and I'm going to show you what that is at the end. Let's go through how I would use this if this were the only thing that I had to store my supplies for using the Build a Quilt system as a quilter or any other quilting technique. Let's take a look. So on this one, there are 4 little bitty skinny drawers that are just about this tall, short drawers, I guess. The ones I saw now, they have like a double sized drawer here and then 3 smaller drawers and then the bigger drawers at the bottom. So it's a little different in that respect. And I think this top actually lifts off too, and you can have an open area in here. I'm going to pop some pictures up here for you. So here in this first drawer, because it is so thin, could I keep fabric in here? Yeah, I could, but I'm not really going to get much in here. But if I need to throw a piece of fabric in here for some reason, I can do that. But now mine is mostly emptied out of most of my stuff. I'm completely reorganizing it right now. But I do keep like all my electronic bits in here now so that they're always in the same place, because you get so many electronic bits, don't you, when you buy cameras or stands or earbuds, all that stuff. You always have so many plugs and different adapters. So I keep those in there now, which I'm so glad I finally have like a single place to put them. But I like keep my glue sticks in here and my marking pens and spare pins and all that kind of stuff. And I always leave my keys to this thing right there in case I don't use them. Now, I do put Christmas presents in here over the holidays and lock this. That way nobody can find out what they're getting for Christmas. This second drawer is another thin one. I've got this is my original pair of shears from over 50 years ago, because I've been quilting. Most of you who know me know I've been quilting for over 55 years now. And so I've had those forever. But like my pinking shears and some drill bits for my Dremel, just glue, all that kind of stuff. This is all going to get reorganized, but I'm just showing you each drawer. Right now in this drawer, I have things like my little mini hangers for my mini quilts. And if you're part of our quilt lab this year, it's the year of the mini quilt. And so a lot of you have been asking me, like, what can I do other than like those little stands or laying it on the table? These little things that you can get either through your quilting shop or perhaps online work really great, because you can just put it right over like a nail or something right like that and then clip your pieces to it. So I keep those in here just so I know where they are when I'm not using them. I also keep my these go over a curtain rod and they clip onto your quilt. I keep those in here because I use those for my wall quilts. I've got some extra IKEA hooks. These are my little tool stands. I don't use these really very much. Sometimes I'll put them out as like a decoration to kind of show things, but I don't use them a lot. But I keep them here because I love them. And then right now, this drawer, I haven't done anything to. It is all of the things that go with my sewing machine. Extra feet, extra needles, for free motion quilting, my little frames that help me guide. I can't free motion quilt without those things. Those are from Gypsy, I think. It's let's see. Yes, the Gypsy Fabulous Fabric Guide from the Gypsy Quilter. And they come in a set of two. This is a small one, and then it nests inside a larger one. But this is all stuff for my sewing machines. And I have to kind of go through this because some of the stuff I don't need anymore, and some of it I do. And I have a set of drawers over on my quilting or on my sewing table. This one, this will probably stay the same. This is all my scan and cut stuff. My mats, my Teflon stuff, my rollers, and my big long mats that go through it. They're all in here. Everything lays out flat so that one drawer gets dedicated. Now, do you have to put those kinds of things in yours if you are organizing? No. Probably as a new quilter or someone who might have been quilting for a long time in a small space, I would like organize your scissors, your rotary cutters, things like that in here. And that's what will eventually be here in mine. But all of these short little drawers, you just put small things in them. You can put like some of, maybe in one, you could lay out patterns in there. They're nice and flat, and you could put those in there. Now, if we come down to this, that's the scan and cut. This next drawer, this drawer I've dedicated to kind of my Build a Quilt necessities. We know we need wash away stabilizer. This is where I put my stabilizer on a roll. And usually I have a big stack of my wash away pre-cuts in here, but right now I have them over at the machine because I'm using them. But I have my Build a Quilt Basics system binder in here. Now, you know that the Build a Quilt Basics set, combo set, is a total digital download. In fact, all of our products at Build a Quilt are a download, so you get instant access to them. You don't have to wait to ship them. But what I did with mine, it helps me when I'm teaching at a shop. It helps me when I'm doing videos with you all on Wednesday workshop, is I got these clear sleeves and I put them in this binder, and then I printed out, and I printed some out in color and some not out in color, but I put all of my pages for the Build a Quilt system, all the written instructions in here. And over at our website, we have the free fabric quantity download sheet. I keep that right here as well. And that sheet tells you like how much of each kind of segment you can cut from fat quarter and either a 42 and a 44-inch width of fabric. So I keep that in here so it's available. And you know, with Build a Quilt, with the basic set, 99% of all of our patterns, you only need a 5x7 hoop. So I keep that there unless I'm using it. And now we are working up to doing some larger segments. So I know there are some of you that have larger hoops and have asked for those. So I keep like my 6x10. I don't use my larger ones very often, but this makes a great place to store them. So when you buy your machine, even your basic machines, sometimes they'll come with a 5x7 and a 6x10 hoop, which is great to start out with. And really all you need with Build a Quilt, right? So I keep those in here, and my roll of stabilizer, that's my Build a Quilt drawer. And if you notice, all these drawers, I can slide labels in here if I want to. I haven't done that yet because I really don't know what I'm going to put in all of these drawers in the end. But here is where we get really useful, and it's great, especially if you are a new quilter and you don't have a lot of fabric in a stash, or if you are a more experienced quilter and you have a ton of stash. Make these next two drawers your working fabric. So you can see right here I have a fat quarter bundle, right? So in these deeper drawers, they can sit on their side like this really easily, and the drawer will close. Okay, This drawer right here, these half-length drawers, let's open this one. I can still put fabric in here if I want to. I can't put it on its edge like this, but I can lay them flat and I can still get a ton of fabric in there. And as I always teach you all with Build a Quilt works really great and is really helps to keep your fabric in manageable sizes because it works best with fat quarters. So as I've explained, you get yourself a yard and you cut it down into your fat quarters on your own. Because I use this as my working fabric, I might only keep 4 to 8 fat quarters of something if I've cut down my own yardage in these drawers. Everything else stays over in my other storage. But if you are new or you are more experienced and just don't have a stash of fabric yet, that's okay. This will really work for you. So as a working or to keep all your fabric in, either way, but you can keep a ton in here. So what I like to do is I have my color. So this is a set, but let's just pretend that maybe that's all blues or something. So there are my pinks. Here are my purples, and I can keep all of those right like that. And then when I open this drawer, I see just a field of color there, and I can go and pick out what I want. And you can get, oh golly, I'm going to guess you can get maybe 300 or 400 fat quarters in one drawer. Okay, because I know how many I've got there, so I'm kind of guesstimating. I'd say between 300 and 400 in the one drawer. That's a lot of fabric. If you think 4 fat quarters is 1 yard, that's a lot. So you can keep all of this nicely in there. And then down here at the bottom is one more big drawer. Let's see, let me adjust my camera just a little bit. This drawer is the same as this one, but it is a wee bit deeper. So you could get even more fabric in here if you wanted to, or whatever you want to put in it. So that's the drawer system on here. And I tell you, this holds a ton. So if you have a small space, you would have all of your bits, pieces, and fabric in basically a 2x2 space. That is a fantastic space saver. And really, if you can get something that works in multiple ways, like something like this would, then you're going to be organized. You're not going to be spread out all over. Eventually you will. Quilters never stay organized the longer they quilt, but it's a great place to start, especially again if you have a small space and you need to keep things tidy. Something like this will work. Now, I'm not telling you to run out and buy this brand, but if you like this idea, this is the least expensive brand that I've found, and I've looked at all of them. And it is equally as well made as any of the really big name brands that I've seen. So let me move these things off because now I have something else to show you. I mentioned it earlier about what you can do with this top. Let me just set this over there. Alrighty, so here on the top, bang, 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 nice and solid, right? It's got this rubber mat, which I love, so it's not marring up. I've had this for 5 years. I've had a ton of stuff on it. This isn't marred at all, and it's really nice. I can take it off. I can even like take it outside and spray it down with a hose if I want to, because it does have a grid on it, and stuff does get caught in it, so I do wipe it off from time to time. But the one thing that you always need as a quilter is a cutting mat. If you don't have a big space or a cutting table, this is a smaller mat. You could get a bigger mat on here, but all you do is put it on here and you can cut your fabric right on here with no problem at all on the cutting mat. So that's nice. And this mat, because it's relatively a smaller mat, it can slide right into that drawer too and be tucked away in the end. Now, the other thing is a ironing station. I hate putting up ironing boards. Even though I have one, I refuse to use one in my quilting room because I hate putting them up and taking them down, putting them up and taking them down, right? Who's with me on that? Raise your hand. So I bought this. This is a June Taylor product. I've had it forever, but I think they still make them. Now, I'll be honest, when I bought mine, I bought it at Joann's years and years ago, but I bet you could find it online or maybe at your local fabric shop. But this is for ironing. It's got a hard back. It's all covered in cloth. You can lay that right up there, but I don't like to just iron on this. I like to always give a little extra because what I really like ironing on are these wool mats. They come in lots of sizes. They also make great, the smaller ones make great mouse pads. That's all I use for my mouse pads. But I put another one, I put that right over the top of it. Now I can put my iron, any iron you have, right on there because I have it connected to the power strip that I put on the side. I can turn this on and off at will, and I can turn the power strip completely off when I walk away at the end of the night, knowing even if I forgot to turn this off, it's not going to be turned on because that power strip is turned off. But I can iron here. I can leave this set up here. These will also fit in those bigger drawers if you need to tidy everything away. And this deep bottom drawer, you can also put your iron down there. So at the end, when you're completely done, you could dock your machine here. You cover it up so it's not getting dusty. You have all your supplies, your fabric, all of your other tools, all in one 2x2 space. That is the most organized I can think of for a small space. And I wish way back when, let's see, my husband and I have been married 43 years. I wish back then I had been knew about something like this and been able to have it, because it would have saved my husband from stepping on pins in our living room and all kinds of places when we lived in a little 1-bedroom apartment and I didn't have a big place to do my quilting. Alrighty, and like I said, these things are extras that you can buy through Harbor Freight, and I want to take a look at something. Now, we don't use templates with Build a Quilt because everything gets built into your digital design. But if you have templates, if you quilt in a more traditional sense or in one of the other techniques, you could keep your templates in here as well. But what I want to look, so I have some hemostats in here because I use them when I do other kinds of embroidery and all. These little things have holes on the side, so you could even put tools there. And they can hang all the way through the bottom if they're longer or not. So you can like use these little holes on the sides for your tools as well. And I keep a pin cushion there. This box has all of my different needle packets in it. So those are all in one place. Super great. So now let's go ahead and come back to the main camera. So, oh, there's one other thing I wanted to show you. Let's move back over. I almost forgot. So down in these drawers with all the fabric, as you know, as you're quilting with Build a Quilt especially, you end up with your segment pieces, right? And you might need somewhere to put them when you're not working, if you've not finished your whole quilt in a day, and most people don't. But like this little box, I got it for $1 at the Dollar Tree many years ago, but I think they still have them. The nice thing about it, this depth, which is, let's measure that. It's just shy of 4.5 inches in depth. It fits in these larger drawers. So you could set up some fabric, put that in there, and you could have a place to store your segments for your project as you're working. Another great way to use this to keep everything organized and in one place. And if you have little kids or curious kids, older kids around, at the end of the night when you're done, lock it up. I can't get my key out, but lock it up, put your key away so nobody can get to it. That way the little ones aren't opening these up and getting their fingers pinched or getting stuck with needles or trying to swallow things that they shouldn't be messing with, right? And there you have it. All right, let's move back over to the main. There we go. So that is the best way I know of to organize a small space. Um, I'm going to keep organizing this when it's completely finished. I will do a community post here on the channel so that you can see the final organization. But what I plan to do now, I've got my cameras and stuff sitting on my cutting table right now, so I don't need to use this for cutting. However, I do have my other little box and stuff that I store there. And what I do is I keep my iron on a small pad and the silicone pad. The problem with the wool pads is that they're meant for steam and heat to go through them. So I don't like my iron sitting just on this because it can ruin a finish underneath. Now, I don't think it's going to hurt this thing at all, but this little silicone ironing pad that's meant for your irons, I just put this on top of it. And so when I store mine, I store it on here, over here on the side. And then I have that little cobalt chest and little fancy decorative things that I like to put out just because they look pretty, right? Okay, excuse me. Have a little coffee. I'm starting to lose my voice, but that's how I use my iron. That's how I do that. And I was telling you, as a mouse pad, I have one like this. I have a mouse pad because my arm is like everywhere with my mouse when I mouse. So this long, thin one works really well. Um, So I will show you in a community post how this ends up, but how I intend to use it, especially for my fabric, is as my working stash. I plan on having sections of color so that I can go in and pick as I need. I plan on having that one drawer as my Build a Quilt Basic Systems drawer, like I showed you, with my binder, my hoops, my stabilizer, that kind of thing. Now, like I said, I don't need the cutting pad and stuff. So that small cutting pad is what I use when I teach away from home and away from the studio when I go to other places, other shops to teach. Then that's what I take with me in my rolling bag. But I can keep that stored away in there and it'll be fine. It'll always be there. I'll always know it's there. All right, folks, if you have any comments or questions about how you might use this or about anything that I've mentioned, please leave a comment below. I'll be happy to get back with you as soon as I get the comment and read it. I will get back with you, happy to help you. I hope that this inspires you to, even if you don't use a chest system like this that I've shown you, to think about what you might have already that you could do this same thing with. Okay. Something that you could use to store everything, make the top your ironing and cutting station, a place to dock your machine at the end. So, like, even though I have a very large machine, if I took my embroidery arm off, I could dock the arm in the back and the machine in the front, or vice versa, and still dock my machine up here, because when you take the larger machines apart, they're still long, but they usually are within that space as well, if that's helpful for you. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching today. If you like this video, please click like and give it a thumbs up. We love to know if this is the kind of thing that you want to see. If you're new to Build a Quilt, please hit the subscribe button. We would love to have you as part of our community. We are in our 3rd year, and because of all of you and the way you shared with your friends and your family and your other quilting groups, we are now almost at 750,000 followers here on YouTube. That blows me away. It's all because of you guys, and I can't thank you enough for that. So click the subscribe button, become part of the community. Join us on Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time for our Wednesday workshop. That's usually when we work on any quilt-alongs we've got going on. If you watch last night's, just go back into the live tab here on the channel. The most recent one from last night, we talked about Do I need this? Because I've been getting a lot of questions from experienced quilters mainly who are switching over to Build a Quilt. Do I need all of these tools that I've always had? So I went through some of those things last night and kind of showed you the very few things you actually do need to have. And that's can be helpful too if you're new to Build a Quilt, to know that you don't have to run out and just buy tons and loads of tools and things like that. Alrighty. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. If you need to contact me, you can do that either through the comments or here at my email address, support@sewincommon.com. We'll get back with you right away. And if you'd like to take a look at the Build a Quilt system, we do have a couple of free patterns just so that you can, it's like a single block. It's the half square triangle, which is the mama block of all pieces in patchwork. It gets used probably more than any other block. And there's a single sized free pattern at the website so that you can give it a try, see what you think. There is a how to video, all of that good stuff. And that is at the website mybuildaquilt.com. And I will let you know real quickly that right now through June 3rd, we're having a Memorial Day sale, and all products at the website are 25% off. That includes the big basic set. That is the biggest sale that set will be on for the rest of the year. So if you've been thinking about it, take advantage of it while that set is available at the sale price. Everything is already has the sale price taken off when you check out, so you don't need a coupon code or anything like that. That's over again at www.mybuildaquilt.com. All right, everybody, you all know what I think about quilters. I think we're all unique artists in our own right, and the quilts and the quilted pieces we put out in the world makes the world more beautiful. um, because as a quilter, you're also a designer, you're an artist, all of that, and we make the world a better place with our quilts and our quilted projects. So until next time, everybody, go quilt life beautiful, and I hope to see you either at our next video or at our next Wednesday workshop live. Bye for now, everybody.